Rene, because you're kind of an exception to the rule, right? So you're doing a lot of this work. Do you, and you can be honest about this, do you feel like that should be the work of the casting director, or do you feel like this is where we go back to the question of why do we not have someone in that writer's room who is of descent, whatever it is, can really, really create the authentic character from within the room, so by the time it reaches us, and I'm not saying we shouldn't do it, because that blame game that I've watched get passed around, like, I'm over the blame game, so we all need to play a part in it, but what do you say to that?
I think that I feel so fortunate every time there is a writer who creates a native role for me to cast, that if I have to go that extra step and say to the producers, please hire someone to do this translation for us, to provide these actors with, I'm okay with it if I need to take that step. But yeah, in the writer's room, they do say to be spoken in Comanche. I mean, it's there on the page. We just need the tools to provide for the actors.
And the time, you know, I think the actors need the respect of being given the time, whether it's the audition or booking the role. It's like, you know, you can book an actor for a role and maybe it's, you know, and with television it's hard because it's fast paced, but it's like it shoots in 3 days and you know, this actor is expected to learn 3 pages in another language. And it's like, you know, it's like saying, well, you speak Asian, right? You know, and expecting a Japanese person to be able to speak Chinese or Korean or whatever. Yeah, so it's like, I think, you know, producers need to just understand that and give that respect to the actors so that they can do their best job.
And I think there's also the aspect of mainstreaming someone while embracing their culture and where they come from too. And I think that that's been something that's been a little bit more difficult to do, that to not just look for people for only, you know, a role because it happens to be a Native or Indigenous role. I've watched a lot of the shows up in Canada, and they're just like regular shows with people who have lives and have families, and, you know, and you sort of go, oh, well, if they can do that, why can't we do that, you know? And that's the kind of thing that we're sort of looking for, you know, when we were just casting, to be able to say to the producer, well, you know, in Maine, the tribe was this, so the chief of police could definitely be someone who's Native American, and to have someone read it. One of the questions I have, though, in this, because I know that in certain cultures, you know, sort of crossing tribal lines and stuff like that is, you know, because Rene, you do a lot of casting of actors, Indigenous and Native American actors, because I know that people look different, the cultures are different, and the languages are different. You know, what do you do when that comes up?
Our process is that we always try first to find the right, the appropriate person for that representation. And I mean, we try very hard to do that. That is not always the case. That is not always how it turns out. So I feel that we've succeeded if we have Native representation in that role. Obviously, it's not always up to me. I'm not the decision maker, but I feel that I fail my job if they don't hire a Native actor in a Native role, because that's why they hire me in the first place.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, it really is, I think, a fine balance between always wanting to be accurate and try, but at the same time, not putting so much difficulty on yourself that you would avoid doing it. Because as a writer, I really want our actors to work all the time. Because every time we work, whether we're writing, whether we're acting, this is a lifelong craft. We get better at it, and we learn things, and we do practical things like have health insurance for the year and stuff, and don't, you know, move back to where we came from before here. So it is, you know, it's not like there's a right answer, but, you know, intention is, I think, the thing that I judge things on. And if you came at it with a good intention, and, you know, just by people being here, listening, and spending a Tuesday evening with us, that speaks volumes. So thank you.
So